I tried to join. I think I should be there by now. But my camera's turned off.
Okay, Andy, we're live.
Hey, good day to everybody. I'm Andy Davis. I have the honor of hosting today, and here in Vermont. And you can see out the window our snow has pretty much melted. We got greenery, gardens planted. It's great to be here. Thank you all who are here in the live room. We get to interact in some very nice ways. Also, welcome to folks that might be streaming on YouTube, YouTube Live or Facebook Live. That's always a great way to check in with the Daily Antidote when you're feeling a little reclusive and you just want to be there without being there. So thank you all for doing that. Before I get around to welcoming our guest today, I do want to mention that we have Bryn doing tech for us today and our fearless leader, Joe, down in Tacoma Park. Also, welcome to Delhi for being there with your beautiful smile. Susan in Cincinnati, Donna right here in Brattleboro, Amanda and Miles out in Michigan, Trish in Victoria, BC, Deborah in Kentucky, and Hoda out in British Columbia, Sheila in Florida, Annette in California. I feel like these are all good friends. Sarah in Texas, Sue Miller out in Seattle, Kathleen in Albuquerque, Carolyn in DC. That's District of Columbia for those that don't know. Anne in Silver Spring, Clive and Abigail across the pond in Birmingham, United Kingdom, Phil, Pauline, and William also in UK, Newcastle. I've been there. Wonderful. Linda Rose in Massachusetts, Aloysius, my good friend Al down in Massachusetts, Linda in Concord, and LMG in Connecticut. I should know what LMG stands for, but I'm not going to take a guess. Elizabeth out in California with her beautiful hammered dulcimer. And Dick and Kathy in Victoria joining us today. Cricket in Maryland. Good to see you. Nancy out in Washington State. Carolyn, good to see you. Bob in Albany. Great to have you. Marcia from Huntsville, Ontario. Carol J. in Connecticut. Ruth, also from Birmingham, UK. Modico, I know you're with us today. Busy Graham, nice to see you. B. Wood, good to have you here. Storm, my neighbor down across the line in Massachusetts. Good to see you, Storm. Athena in Brooklyn, welcome today. Tom Armstrong. From the Carpe Diem board, we've got some powerful people here with us today. It's great to have you all here. The Daily Antidote, of course, is welcome to all. Tell your friends about it. I am so pleased that I was asked to host today. And I want to just give a wonderful welcome to Eshu Bumpus and Motoko Dworkin, who's going to be here with us for a short while. Dear friends of mine, fabulous storytellers, and musicians and cultural artists who have just done so much to connect people. And I just trying to say enough to make you both blush. I have such wonderful memories of you all telling stories and publishing and bringing so much joy to the world. So without me talking anymore, I think we should all practice saying Eshu. Eshu. And there's probably a story there, Eshu. But why don't you tell us what you're going to sing and dive right into a song we can all join in, and then we'll have time to chat, talk about what you're up to. And I understand we're going to get a second song, too, that we can all join in on. So take it away, Eshu.
Okay. Well, this is a song that I love that I think a lot of you already know. Kathy Bullock's sister, Diane Clayton White, wrote this song called "You Are Welcomed," and I loved it so much that I asked Diane if I could put verses to it, which she graciously said yes. And so I'm going to teach you the chorus, and then between the times that we sing the chorus, I'll put my verses in, and they'll be in the chat also, so if you want to learn the words. So it basically goes like this. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. And that gets repeated. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. Okay? So it's you are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. So we'll start with the chorus and then I'll go right into the verses. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. If you can sing your song, if you can take a chance, if you just came to listen and sit back and watch the dance, let me tell you that's all right. Let me tell you in advance, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. If a story is enough to put a smile upon your face, or if this is just a moment when you need a warm embrace, sit down and be with family. Life's a journey, not a race. You are welcome in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. We came from different lands with a past that darkness claimed. Our stories full of triumphs over miseries unnamed. But now we put our hands together with a joy that won't be shamed. You are welcome in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed, you are welcomed, you are welcomed in this place. You are welcomed in this place. Thank you.
Eshu, you have a way of getting very quiet and demanding everybody's attention through lowering the level. I saw you do that so many times with a room of children, with all their tumult, and you just start speaking and they all come zoom right down to the ear. It's a beautiful gift, Eshu. So tell us what drew you to that kind of song, because I've heard you sing a number of songs that have that same kind of magic.
Yeah, I was down at the Christmas camp. Motoko and I were there one winter doing the dance camp there, and in Berea, Kentucky, and Kathy was leading the singing, and I just loved that song when I heard it,
Kathy Bullock, yes, yeah,
And yeah, you guys know Kathy Bullock,
yes, good,
and
yeah.
so I just really loved that song. So I I really felt like it really was asking for verses.
So I was going to ask you, those are your verses, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is brilliant. That song, like so many great pieces of art, it can serve many functions, and
hmm
we've done it in our church as part of worship, where it's welcoming the Holy Spirit
hmm
to this place, and it's. But yours is so personal, and it's so from you to whoever's listening, and your verses are powerful. Mm,
Thank you.
mm. I was suspecting you wrote those because those. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's timely. Motoko asked me about the last verse, why I said. Uh, we put our hands together with a joy that won't be shamed. But she didn't grow up in this country. She grew up in Japan.
Mm,
But growing up in this country, and particularly in the 50s and 60s, you know, that was
mm.
a big thing. If you had a black friend, you were called, N lover, and if you had a white friend, you were called Uncle Tom, or that type of thing. Um,
Yes.
just we've
No, I
been
got
through
that.
so much that we need to grow out of. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. No, I think that's. Yeah. Yeah. It's you. I got that.
Yeah.
Didn't seem out of place. Um. So, what are you up to these days? I understand that you're toying with retirement. I just cannot wrap my brain around you retiring.
Oh man, you know, it feels good, man. It feels good. It's the running around. I've been a storyteller for decades, several decades, and it requires you know being on a schedule all the time. Kind of running from place to place, and that part of it gets old. You know, so
Is the lawnmower next door to me causing a problem here?
I don't think so.
You can't hear it.
No.
I'm gonna close some windows. I'm out here in the mudroom, which is really nice, but I've got somebody doing lawn maintenance next door.
Yeah, we've got construction right now too.
Um, so, um, do you have any performances coming up or any online resources people should know about? I know that your website is a resource.
Well, yeah, folktales.net, and you'll see Motoko's very, very active all the time. For myself, I'm going to have to start making adjustments to my website as I shift into graphic arts, you know, that's something I was doing back in the 70s. I used to do pastels and pen and ink stuff, and I've had my first exhibit back in December after 43 years. And it's,
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing as a graphic artist.
well, I do pastels, but after so many years of not doing it, it's a challenge getting back into it. So I've gotten into photography as well, and I like to work with computers, so I'm doing lots of interesting stuff with AI, with photography, and just having fun with it.
I remember when you first told me that you built your computer. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
You are definitely have your hands in many different levels of good stuff. I was going to say I also marveled that you managed to get a hold of folktales.net. I can't think of a better storyteller to have
Yeah. Yeah.
folktales.net.
Tim Jennings already had folktales.com.
Yeah, well, folktales.net, check it out. And Motoko is another magical storyteller. The two of you, oh my God, I have so many pleasant memories. Um, it's getting close to 12:20. Is there something that you just feel as you were looking? This is your first time on Daily Antidote of Song. Is there anything you were hoping you could get a chance to share about what you do or your mission in the world or anything?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of exploring right now. Not really ready to articulate anything just yet. Just trying to find my footing.
Yeah.
After so many years of doing the same thing, so I'll get there.
Well, I'll give you the same warning everybody gives, and I'll probably get some head nodding amongst our wonderful audience here, but I'm sure you've already been warned that as soon as the world finds out you're retired, they want you on a board or they want you to do this, help out with this project, because he's got all the time in the world. And then pretty soon you wonder, what happened to all my retired time? So take care of yourself.
Yeah, I will. Believe me.
I hope we find some time to get a visit in.
Oh, yeah.
Long. So anyway, do you want to tell us a bit about? I did want to mention, folks, check in the chat. So these links are in there, and of course the lyrics and everything. So be sure that you get a hold of all of that. I notice someone put in the chat there. I'm not supposed to look at the chat, but it does mention someone has known you for 30 years. You have really walked the walk as a storyteller, and I learned so much from you, Eshu, about working with children. I just want to shout out that you're a master teacher, not only of storytelling, but of writing and of giving children a voice in helping create stories. Some of those stories were wild, Eshu. You knew that. But I saw you work with the writing in our schools when you came up to some of the Vermont schools, and you just have a touch of unlocking children's need to express themselves, so that it's coming from them in a magical way. So
I've been committing a lot of that stuff to video lessons so that I can put up a package that teachers can use,
Oh, and your printed materials, I hope you make those available too, because you publish some amazing manuals on how to get children writing, telling stories, working on their own personal histories and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe we should turn this at this point and tell us a bit about your other song and how we can participate in that.
Okay, well, this is a song I wrote probably about 1990, somewhere around there. It's called A Land Called Freedom, and I think it's a perfect addition to Juneteenth type of things. It's just history in a nutshell kind of thing, but speaks to it's politely called irony of how things formed in this country. So there is a line that repeats. We say, in a land that they call freedom, a land that they call freedom. So you hear that at the end of each verse, and if you want to
harmonize.
Yeah. The ship was sailing on a western sea. I wondered what would become of me. They brought me to a land so strange, a land that they call freedom. Separated from my wife and son, worked as long as you could see the sun. Had to live among my enemies in a land that they call freedom. I shed my blood just like I shed my name. I knew my life would never be the same. So I spend it struggling to be free. Don't wanna pass on this misery. If you believe in things you cannot see, make sure it's something that can set you free. Don't spend your time trying to pretend you found a land that they call freedom. One day you realize you're not alone. Freedom's got to be for everyone. Each generation's got to find a way to build a land that they can call freedom. Freedom doesn't come like a bird on a wing. You know it's got to be a hard-won thing. To build a nation in a hostile land takes the work of every woman and man. Children will listen if you teach them to understand it's up to me and you. 'Cause nothing ever comes easily in this land that they call freedom. To free yourself, you've got to think and plan, then act it out with your own two hands. That's why we've got to work hand in hand to build a land that we can call freedom. Build a land that we can call freedom. To build a land that we can call freedom. Thank you.
Hey, wow. I found that I don't know how other people, I just put up the words in the chat and I just kind of jammed along with you on your poetry. Did anyone else take that approach? It was just a way to connect with what you were singing there and sort of experiment with a little improvisational intuition. Wow. So you told me that you mentioned to us that you had written that song a while ago.
Yeah.
I seem to
around 1990.
Yeah. Does that go back to the times of Camp Allegro, the famous Camp Allegro that so many of us
Actually, yeah, before that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds right on. It's still speaking. Well, I think what I should do is I could give you a little chance to say a little bit more if you'd like, Eshu, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff happening on Daily Antidote this week. That's quite a week that you're kicking off here, Eshu.
Oh, I noticed that. Yeah.
So you're in some amazing company, and Joe's going to throw this up. We had Emma's Revolution yesterday. Eshu, of course, with his beautiful Mbira there, in that lovely picture today. Tomorrow, Alex Cumming, wonderful English accordionist, songwriter. Then on Wednesday, Liz Mitchell and Daniel Littleton, and we'll hear from them a little bit more. Wow, we've got Brattleboro well represented here this week. Mary Alice and Peter Amadon on Thursday, Rowan Corbett, and we have Doe Hoyer. Can't read my own writing. Doe Hoyer on the 16th. So this week is an amazing lineup. Our hosts are going to be Moon Clementson, myself, Andy Davis, Kathy Bullock, who you mentioned, Eshu, in your comments, teaching you the song You Are Welcome, Shruti Vishwanath, and Dick Jackson and Kathy Baker. It's always an honor both to sing on this program and to be a host. It's just a way to kind of give back. So it's a wonderful role. Thank you, Joe, for always encouraging the hosts. Joe's going to say a little bit about the program on Wednesday because it ties in with a special CD release that's happening in the DC area this week. So, Joe, why don't you tell us about that?
Thank you, Andy. So, Liz Mitchell and Daniel Littleton are joining us in the room. in support of a concert that we're producing here in the DC area. So anyone who's local, we'd love to see you. This is June 23rd. It's at the Washington Ethical Society. And this is a CD release of Smithsonian. It's a Smithsonian Folkways release. It is Sonia Cohen Kramer. It's a posthumous release. Sonia was a dear friend to many in Tacoma Park. She was the niece of Pete Seeger, Mike Seeger, Peggy Seeger. There are Seegers on this beautiful Folkways release. And that night's concert is Elizabeth Mitchell and Daniel Littleton, as well as our dear Dan and Claudia Zanes, both of whom are on the Folkways label, and they've done a lot of singing together. So Elizabeth is on the CD with Sonia. So if you're able to join us on June 23, please do. Unfortunately, not being live stream, I'm sorry to say, but we'd love to see you all there. And while I'm at it, I'm going to actually say one more thing, because we also have one other great thing coming up. Hope the screen share is going to work. It's not, so give me one more second. I got to close that one. And let's try again. So we have one more thing coming up on June 20, and this is for everybody, whether you are local or not. We are doing a fundraiser for the Daily Antidote of Song. This is specifically in support of all the racial justice work that we are doing. It's Reggie Harris and Greg Greenway doing their program Deeper Than the Skin. They call it a musical presentation on race. So it's singing and so much more. It's June 20th. It's going to be online at 7 p.m., but it will also be available afterwards. We're asking folks who can to please make a donation before they attend or before they watch. And there's information on our website about that. And for anyone in the DC area who's interested in making a large donation, we do have a few seats left at the live performance. So we're going to have guests there, Sweet Honey and the Rock, members of Sweet Honey, as well as Issei Barnwell and others joining us to sing along with Greg and Reggie. So thanks everybody so much for listening to me. Please mark your calendars, June 20. And again, you can watch the fundraiser afterwards, and also June 23. Can't wait to see lots of you there. And thank you so much for the talk time. Back to you, Andy.
Thank you, Joe, for all that gets organized. And I'm using the passive tense because I know it's not one person that does it all. It's a team, but it does get organized. The Daily Antidote is a constant resource. So let's all thank Eshu for coming in singing these beautiful, heartfelt songs. And Eshu, we often say at this point, I'm going to do a goodbye to everybody who's on in the live room today, and a goodbye to the folks that maybe tuned in. I'm sure they did on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. But before we do that, we often just say goodbye to the artists. So if you have other things you need to do and can slip out. But I did get this idea in my head. If you wanted to unmute and while I'm doing the goodbyes, would you be willing to do a little guitar background to the goodbyes?
Okay.
All right, so that is going to be met with mixed success because we will only hear one of you at a time. But I'll tell you what,
No.
can we get a little bit of guitaring, like sort of, I don't know, figure it out. You can do some intersperse something.
Okay, no, well, let's not experiment with that. I just had this beautiful audio image in my brain of your guitar background to the goodbyes.
Be so amazing. Next time you guys are together, I think we have a good plan now.
We'll be in the same room next time. So
Yeah.
let's say goodbye to Eshu. Thank you, Eshu.
Thank you.
I hope we get you back again on the Daily Antidote of Song.
Yeah, I want to get on with Motoko, we'll do something
Yes,
together.
Joe, make a note of that. All right, thank you, Eshu, and I'm going to proceed. Joe, is it okay if I do goodbyes from the end to the beginning? Is that ever done?
So be creative, my friend. I can see you're in a good mood today.
I'm going to start at the end and not at the beginning and turn to page 2. And thank you, Bob, for being here today. Bob Lee. Thank you, LMG in Connecticut for joining us. Kat Cox in Vermont. B. Wood. Nancy in Washington State. Dick and Kathy from Victoria. Donna. Must be a neighbor of mine in Brattleboro. Linda in Concord, Mass. Great to see you in your kitchen. Al from Massachusetts. I know you're there somewhere near your truck. Carolyn, thank you for being here today. Storm, always good to see you in your stylish cap. Ruth in Birmingham. Anne in Silver Spring. Athena in Brooklyn, thank you for being here. Bob in Albany, New York. Mabel and the Bears, thank you for being here. It wouldn't be the same without you. Cricket in Maryland, always good. Thank you. Phil, Pauline, William in UK, Newcastle, Geordie country, thank you for being here. Clive and Abigail from Birmingham, UK, beautiful to have you. Carolyn in DC, thank you. Tom Armstrong, the Carpe Diem board, thanks to all of you. Kathleen in Albuquerque, Sue Miller up in Seattle, Sarah in Texas, Annette in California, Sheila in beautiful Florida there with all your flowers, and Hoda in British Columbia, and Deborah in Kentucky. Beautiful to see you. Amanda and Miles in Michigan. We got the country covered here. Susan in Cincinnati, Delhi in Maryland, Joe in Tacoma Park, Bryn here in Vermont. Thank you, Andy, for being here today from Brattleboro. Trying to be creative here. Thank you all. I don't know what's happening in your part of the country. We're having what I call one of those annoying Vermont days where there's nothing to complain about the weather. It's just perfect. So you all have a lovely day, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Daily Antidote.